This might have been Matt Settle's best acting, actually. Maybe Vanderwoodson? Bass? Roots? He just sounded so pathetic.
He did. Oh, that's so funny. And it's so true because he had no words and was just searching for ready to go through the other 4 names that she's had.
Hey, Upper East Siders and all you scandal-loving listeners out there. You just tuned into the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, where the coffee is strong, the waffles are fresh, and the gossip is hotter than ever. My name is Leif, and I'm your seasoned Gossip Girl veteran.
And I'm Steve. I'm the newbie, the greenhorn, I don't know, Leif, what are we calling me in season 3?
I'm not sure, but there is no punishment for what you did last week.
I said I was sorry.
Not enough.
Oh, welcome back, Cyrus. Oh, it was so good to see him. So here's the deal, folks. Leif's been watching Gossip Girl since the beginning, and I'm tuning in for the first time. And together, we're your dynamic duo, bringing you all the drama, romance, and sometimes questionable fashion choices of this iconic 2007 series.
Bring your magnifying glasses because each week we're dissecting every juicy detail of the show, one episode at a time. We'll connect the dots, uncover those sneaky little Easter eggs, and of course, serve up some piping hot behind-the-scenes tea. And expect some iconic fandom moments too, because what's a deep dive without a little drama?
And since we are all about inclusivity here on the Non-Judging Breakfast Pod, there is always a seat for you at the Non-Judging Breakfast table. So go ahead and grab your coffee, your mimosa, or whatever you can get from Chuck's dealer, and let's go ahead and dive into this.
And it's a little bit emptier at the breakfast table this morning because we're alone for the first time in a little while.
Yeah, it's guest month. I guess guest month was guest 3/4 of a month.
Yes. We do have some interesting guests possibly booked for the future, but we'll keep that under wraps for now.
Yes, very exciting.
Any other updates this week?
Well, I will say I ran into my friend Emily Minio. Emily, remind me how to say your last name. But I ran into my friend Emily, and she was talking about how a friend of hers who I met at one of her shows is a big fan of the podcast. I couldn't hear your name over what Emily said, but I wanted to definitely give a shout out to Emily and her friend.
Unnamed friend.
Unnamed friend.
Thank you for listening.
Yeah, leave us a comment. Tell us your name, and let's keep in touch. Thank you so much for listening, and we really appreciate it. And Emily, you should be listening too, since you're watching Gossip Girl, and you can get our take on it.
And definitely interaction is much appreciated.
Yes, we love it.
We are here to talk about Season 3, Episode 18, The Unblairable Lightness of Being. The original air date was April 12th, 2010.
Yeah.
Based on The Unbearable Lightness of Being, which was a book and a play in which takes place in the 1960s Prague, explores the artistic and intellectual life of Czech society from Prague's spring of 1968 to the invasion of Czechoslovakia by the Soviet Union and 3 other Warsaw Pact countries.
Never saw it.
Sounds depressing.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound like...
Which kind of fits for the episode.
Would be kind of unbearable to be in those circumstances.
But I guess like it's like 4 couples or 2 couples, and they kind of have some issues. I think is the main focus of the story.
Yeah.
Episode was written by Jean Leitenberg. Fresh blood in the writing room. This is her first of 2 episodes. Her only previous credit to this was Chasing Dorota, the web series. So I'm guessing she was a PA.
Yeah.
Afterwards,
probably in the writer's room.
Yeah, not much after either. She did 2 TV shows. I've never heard of either of them, Chasing Life and Royal Crush. And then did several episodes for the show BH 90210. Do you know what that one was?
BH90210?
Yeah.
No.
So that was a kind of mockumentary starring some of the cast from the original 90210 getting together to do a reboot.
Oh. That's funny. Did you see it?
No.
Okay. That sounds funny though. Like if it's like a joke.
It still had their bad acting. So
yeah. And it still had Shannon Doherty probably at that time, right?
I
doubt she would have been involved.
I think it was like the guy with the curly hair, the rich, like the real rich guy, Steve, maybe.
Yeah.
And also, I think Tori Spelling was, of course.
Yes. Yeah.
This episode was directed by Janice Cook. This is her 5th and final episode of Gossip Girl. She also did 116, All About My Brother, 203, The Dark Knight, and 216, You've Got Yale. Also 223, The Wrath of Khan.
What was Wrath of Khan again?
That was the good one. That's like with the Georgina when she came back and schemed against Poppy.
Right. That, yes. Okay. Yeah, because these are all solid credits.
I mean, All About My Brother was not great.
All About My Brother was when Eric came out.
Yeah.
That's the first Georgina one.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. She was terrible.
But we this last couple episodes, we've been seeing several people in their last episode. So I think it's pretty clear the network is not really happy with the way season 3 is going.
Yeah. And we're about to see some major turnover, it feels. And I don't blame them because season 3 has taken a hit, a serious dip, and especially in like the creative spark of the writing. They're now just we used to talk about how they have all these great writing tools, and now they're seriously just copying and pasting tropes. It's like they went to tvtropes.com and they're just hitting copy paste for half the plot lines. And everything is so predictable. And I'll even say this particular episode I thought was better than the previous episode.
Yeah, I actually really like this episode.
Yeah, I think that this was one of the better ones in the past 5 or so that I too like this episode.
Why don't you give us the Vulture recap?
Okay. In its beginning steps, love on Gossip Girl is fairly simple. It might start out bumpy, but for time afterward, couples coast along blissfully, their only concern being whose hair is shinier. Dan and Serena were like this at first, as were Nate and Vanessa, and even Chuck and Blair, once they got over the 3 words, 8 letters business. And now we have the beaming, radiant Dorota and Vanya. Of course, inevitably, beneath those perfectly tousled strands, below the fallacies, trouble begins to brew, emotions swirl, ideals take shape, and soon enough, someone makes a decision that ends up complicating, polluting the relationship, such as deciding to pimp out your girlfriend in order to save your hotel from your wicked uncle, or deciding to leave a wedding with your ex-boyfriend on a secret errand to Palm Beach without mentioning to your current boyfriend, who is already pissed at you for seeing your ex-boyfriend for coffee and leaving him in the hands of a teenage temptress, or deciding to leave your current husband in order to shack up with your first husband, again, for unexplained reasons, even though you just finished a multi-episode fight with your current husband over the same thing last week. These are but a few of the choices made by the cast of Gossip Girl this week that will alter the chemistry of their love. And yet it must be said that none of these truly terrible decisions were made out of a lack of love. They were made because real love is not, as Blair thinks, pure. It is not, as Dorota put it, good or bad. It's complicated and messy and sometimes fraught, especially if you drink lots of vodka. So Dorota and Vanya might want to watch out. Little novel we had today, Vulture Report.
Follicles.
Follicles. Would I say fallacies?
Yes.
Yeah, follicles. Below the follicles, yeah.
Let's get into Act 1. For the first time, we open with a Chuck dream. He imagines he is in a noir film and Blair has been taken.
Yeah, and you see the dream sequence. We've seen these Blair dream sequences, so of course I'm thinking it's a Blair dream, and then you see Chuck pop into the dream. It's like, whoa, it's a Chuck dream. Yeah. So, twist.
Dun, dun, dun. And we open with a Gossip Girl monologue. Up and at 'em, Upper East Siders. It's time to awake from our slumber and learn the hard truth that some nightmares don't end when we open our eyes. Chuck and Blair awake in separate beds. Chuck is searching his suite for a drink, and Nate and Serena walk in and let him know he won't find any alcohol, and they are worried about him. But Chuck pulls out a hidden flask and lets them know that Blair won't speak to him. Serena sends Nate to handle Blair alone because she has breakfast with the Humphreys.
So I believe it is this scene where my full turn on my feelings for Serena came full circle, 180, and I can't stand this person. That I loved Serena in season 1. I loved Serena and Dan, and I thought they were stupid for breaking up. I thought they were stupid for their drama in season 2. But I really put it on both of them and not just Serena. And season 3, everything Serena has done and everything that Serena does do is very much the same person that she has always been. It's just that now you see how arrogant and how it girl and me girl and pick me she is at all times. That at every moment she just thinks that she's out here saving all of her friends without any clue of how absolutely unbearable she is.
Yeah, it's really been since the third Dan and Serena breakup.
Yes. Yeah, that was the car one, right?
Yeah, right before he gets with his car.
Yeah. And then she just becomes gradually more and more unbearable. And it's not that she becomes more of a narcissist. It's you see it more and more. And you don't have Dan balancing it. And it's so funny because, like, the characterization of Serena from Dan's point of view all along was it's always all about you. And Blair's problem is it's always all about you. And Serena's always like, tee-hee.
Yeah.
And so when in this scene where she, first of all, they've hidden the booze from Chuck. You're not going to find anything there. And then they lecture Chuck and do all of that. And Chuck leaves. And Serena turns to Nate and is like, do you think it worked? No, he just poured booze into the coffee that you just watched him not work.
But that's just Chuck, though.
Well, exactly. But my point just being that, like, Serena, you accomplished nothing. Like, you did nothing. And then...
Well, she did accomplish what she wanted. Which was to give him the push to make a gesture.
She did accomplish that. I felt it, and the other... And once again, making that push to do a gesture, Serena has to be the one in the center pushing him. Yeah. But then, she turns to Nate. And is like, go hang out with your ex-girlfriend so I can go have breakfast with my ex-boyfriend's family. And...
But we don't know that yet.
We don't... Oh, I thought that was right here.
No, this is just her... She says she's going to see the Humphreys.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Her that's the ex-boyfriend I was talking about. Well, Dan. I do get the nuance. I know that I get it. But I was just trying to throw it out there.
That's more I'm going to have breakfast with my family.
Yeah, you're right.
one of her ex-boyfriends happens to be there, but it's also her brother.
Yeah.
And her mom's, or not, her mom's not there, but her brother, her other brother's there, and
yeah,
Jenny's sort of her sister.
Yeah, her stepsister, her
And
stepbrother
stepdad.
are there,
Yeah,
and stepdad are having. Yes,
it's family breakfast.
it is that which is, but at the same time, as she's saying that, it's like you're lying. And kudos to Blake on selling the lie in a way that it wouldn't sell it to Nate necessarily, but really good, like, bad eye contact and all of the things Serena does when she lies. So I felt it was good, like, within the character, good acting, but it was like, Serena, what the fuck are you doing with the best thing in your life? So where's the handcuffs? Where's the goddamn handcuffs? Take Nate with you to see Carter.
She doesn't love Nate.
Sure says it a lot. Sure says it a lot. She loves Serena. I don't think anyone is ever going to live up to Serena.
Eleanor and Cyrus are back in town, but Dorota is panicked about her parents finding out about her getting knocked up before getting locked up. Nate arrives to talk to Blair.
So nice to see Cyrus back. I love Cyrus.
And we get a Howard Hughes reference here, which a lot of people in the fandom probably don't get.
Yeah.
Even though there is a Leonardo DiCaprio movie about him.
Oh, yeah. It was, yeah.
The Aviator.
Oh, I don't think I've seen that one.
Yeah, most people haven't, unfortunately. It's a good, decent movie. But I actually learned about Howard Hughes from The Simpsons. Because they parodied it with Mr. Burns.
Oh, right. Simpsons did it.
Yes. Nate goes to Blair's room to try to cheer her up, but is shocked when Blair reveals that what happened with Jack and the hotel.
Nate, being good guy Nate, very sweet, appropriate reaction to the information he was given. I wish he would have dropped the name of the pod in the conversation. I wish he would have said we're the Non-Judging Breakfast Club again. I'm hoping someone says it again eventually. But he made the point, like, we are who we are. We don't judge each other. We know everything. I really liked it. It was a really nice sort of bestie scene without the besties, with Serena being an asshole, off being an asshole. I really liked this scene.
Yeah, he didn't judge Blair, but he did judge Chuck and Serena later in the episode.
Oh, yeah.
Eleanor mocks Cyrus for trying to eavesdrop on Dorota. Chuck arrives with flowers in hand. Dorota needs to get married before her parents arrive, but refuses to do a quickie City Hall marriage. It's revealed that Dorota is a divorcee, and her first marriage happened at City Hall.
Quite a few things in this scene that I liked. Let's start with the fact that I love that we have a Dorota storyline. We've had Dorota in many storylines. I feel like this might be her first storyline, other than, I guess, the one where she was pregnant, where you found out she was pregnant, but even then you found out through
it was more about
Blair and Eleanor's storyline. So this is a storyline about Dorota and her family and her background and needing to get married. So I really liked that she got a storyline finally. I don't think that's why we didn't work out.
Eleanor, Harold.
Eleanor. Oh, God, she steals every scene she's in. I love when Margaret Collins is on this show. I love that that Cyrus is here for it as well. It was funny. When I first saw him, in my brain said Cecil, and I wrote down Cecil. And then later I saw him again. I was like, Cyrus. I was like, oh, did I say Cecil? And then I said,
caterpillar?
And well, then I said to Robin, Cyrus, right? She goes, yeah. And I go, oh, I wrote down Cecil. She goes, no, that's the Cabbage Patch Kid. I go, no, that's Cedric.
Cecil is the caterpillar.
Cecil's the caterpillar. Cece's the grandma. So yes, I loved all of the things in this.
Blair and Nate come downstairs and enter the discussion. Chuck has offered to throw a traditional Russian-Polish wedding for Dorota and Vanya. He also lied and said he and Blair were back together. Thinking this is true, Dorota asks for Blair and Chuck to stand with her at her wedding, as the tradition involves having a happy couple escorting the bride and groom into the chapel. Blair momentarily hesitates, but Chuck steps in and accepts.
I love that Chuck's scheme is, I'm going to get these people married. I'm going to win her back by giving Dorota a wedding. And not a bad plan, Chuck.
Yeah. It's something that only Chuck can pull off.
Yeah.
He's got the money.
He's got the money, and Blair's a sucker for weddings. This is our second this season or third?
This is the second this season.
Fourth overall?
Yeah, because we got Bart and Lily, Maureen and Trip, Rufus and Lily, and now this one, Dorota and Vanya.
And Cyrus and Eleanor.
Yeah, so
5.
So this is fifth.
Yeah, and this is actually the third this season because of Trip. I forgot about. So Rufus, Lily.
Was that third or second season? I think that was second season. Trip and Maureen.
Trip and Maureen was second season?
I believe so.
No, that was the wolves and all that. That was this.
Yeah, that was in the wedding episode. That was.
Oh, right. Oh, was that?
Because they were already married when the campaign stuff was happening in this season.
What was the season premiere?
That was in the polo match.
Oh, right. I was thinking it was a wedding. Okay. Yeah.
Serena texts Nate that she is still at breakfast, but she is actually meeting with Carter. And we get a Gossip Girl blast. Poor B just realized that Chuck will do anything to keep the flame alive. As for Serena, she's playing with fire.
Welcome back, Carter. Welcome back.
And now say goodbye.
And now, yeah.
Because this is the last time you'll ever see her.
So this is when that means that right around now, Leighton just broke up with him and he got fired. Because both things happened at the same time, because then for those of you who don't know, my friend's late wife was one of those kind of always kind souls, and she saw a man crying in a coffee shop, and she went up and said, "Hey, are you all right? Can I buy you a coffee?" And the man said, "I'm just really sad. My girlfriend just broke up with me and I lost my job." She said, "Oh, that's terrible," and talked to him for just a second. I think she bought him a coffee or something and was on her way. And then a few years later, she's watching Winter Soldier, or not Winter Soldier, the Captain America. Was it the Captain America that he's in?
He's in all of them.
Is he in the first one? Okay. She's watching that and she's like, "Oh, that's the guy that I saw in the coffee shop," to her husband, who's a huge comic book fan. She's like, "What the fuck?"
And we move into Act 2. Wedding prep is in full swing. Chuck is making himself overly helpful, but Blair sees right through the charade and calls him out on it. Chuck begs for forgiveness that Blair is unable to give.
Bing it. You don't know? Bing it.
Get them Bill Gates dollars.
And I love the line, "Everything occurs to you, Chuck," because it's true. Yeah. He knows it's calculated. He knows what he's doing.
Serena shows up to help with the prep, which is good because Nate needs help with the flowers. Serena immediately blows her breakfast cover story by greedily grabbing a croissant.
She's so bad at lying. She was so bad at lying when she lied, and then she can't maintain a lie. Like, "Oh, I'm starving." Like, Rufus makes waffles. Like, how can you be hungry? Those carbs, just burn right through them between, getting from one penthouse to the other.
As we find out in the next scene, Dan just ate 5 pounds of Bisquick.
Yeah. Well, and that's my, I have a.
Yeah. So at the Vanderhump penthouse, we are getting a post-breakfast cleanup with Dan, Rufus, Jenny, and Eric. Dan has his application for Tish submitted. Rufus is throwing an Eastern European game night for Dorota and Vanya tonight. Jenny is helping with Eleanor with dress prep, and Eric is tagging along to stalk his new crush, Elliot. Rufus is sad that Lily's missing the festivities as she is still with Cece. Dan encourages him to call her to see if she can make it home early.
So all this time we hear about Rufus's waffles and he's using fucking Bisquick. He's using their box. They're from the fucking box. Are you kidding me? What? That is the most single dad shit. I'm going to make you my famous waffles from this fucking box.
So 2 weeks ago, Danielle, and then you also kind of were chiming in, wondering about Rufus and Eleanor's friendship. And I kind of fought back on it a little bit. And this kind of reaffirms my point of view because now he's helping Eleanor out.
It's funny because everything you just said, I was thinking about at the same time, where Danielle was like, how well do they know each other? And we kind of were talking a little bit, but not too well.
I also thought of another previous scene we didn't even mention, the graduation from season 2, when the two couples were kind of sitting together and they were talking, and Cyrus was like encouraging them to get Rufus and Lily to get married right away.
Oh yeah, true.
Like they're definitely friendly.
Yeah, and then here tonight where she reaches out to Rufus to plan this thing, which I would also think if he was not married to Lily, I don't think Eleanor would think to reach out to Rufus.
Oh no,
because they wouldn't really be in the same circle anymore,
and he probably couldn't afford it.
And he probably couldn't afford it. Sure, I'll throw again and just like make him over and just like Monopoly and shit, like fitting, 50 people in the loft.
Yeah.
Which did seem to get a little bit bigger when the Sonic Youths were playing in it. So
Nate calls Chuck out for what he did to Blair. Chuck tries to gain sympathy by revealing Blair's part in the scheme. When that doesn't work, Chuck also drops the tidbit that Serena lied to him about breakfast and was actually with Carter this morning.
So Chuck, first of all, Chuck victim blaming Blair. Did she tell you that she went up there on her own volition? That she didn't know that I tricked her into going up there to try to sleep with my uncle? Did she tell you that my scheming was so successful that she went up to sleep with him without telling me? Chuck, that doesn't help.
I don't know how they're going to redeem Chuck from this. It's going to be a long road.
Yeah. And I mean, how do they redeem Chuck from nearly sexually assaulting 2 people in one episode when we first turned on the show? But
yeah. And here we are.
And here we are.
Blair finds Serena hiding in her room. It turns out Serena urged Chuck to make a gesture of goodwill. Blair unknowingly highlights Serena's dishonesty with Nate.
Yeah. And this is also when Serena's sitting here kind of revealing that she's the one who pushed Chuck to make this gesture. And it's once again, Serena, you're trying to save the day by getting them back together, by pushing him to make this grand gesture, when pushing them together is the worst fucking thing you can do for your best friend right now. Yeah. She doesn't need new bracelets from Barney's. She needs a best friend who's going to say, yeah, get as far away from the guy who tried to traffic you to his uncle as possible.
Yeah. Oh, Serena.
Such an asshole. It's so funny because it really was this episode where the glass, you know that episode of How I Met Your Mother when the glass breaks every time they realize there's something that is super annoying about the other person?
I vaguely remember that episode.
It's Lily chews really loud and they all have these little quirks and now they all notice them for the first time. And this episode was just that glass breaking for Serena over and over for me. That it's been building to it, and then for her to be, and like you said, like she's sitting here talking to Blair about, being honest, and you guys should be honest with each other and talk to each other. It's like, why are you running around behind your boyfriend's back with your ex-boyfriend when all you have to do is say, hey, Nate, come with me to find my dad. Like, hey, you know what? I know we talked about how, like, I should let it go, but this is still something important to me. You mind going with, hey, Nate, could you get a private investigator for me? Because Nate would do that shit in a heartbeat. Why do you need Carter's private investigator? Where is Carter getting a private investigator from his oil rig in Texas that is better than what the Archibald family can afford.
Yeah, all valid points.
Fucking asshole.
Nate and Carter meet on the street and square off. Carter gives Nate an envelope to pass to Serena. As Carter leaves, Jenny and Eric walk up. Eric tries to help Serena cover up the breakfast lie, but Jenny doesn't let it slide.
It was no. and I'll say this again later. I'm not mad at Jenny. I'm not mad at Jenny for telling the truth, right? Like, yes, she's got ulterior motives.
Yeah.
But Jenny's
This was fine.
Yeah. She's a 16-year-old girl who's into this guy. She's into the same guy that her stepsister's into. She does some grimy shit. I'm not mad at it because I feel like it is a very honest kid stuff.
This part is fine. She fucks up later.
She gets grimier as the episode goes on.
And she did not learn a lesson from season 2.
No, of course not. Well, who has learned a lesson on this show? Nate, kind of, from sending his dad to prison. So yeah, I wasn't mad at Jenny for this. Carter plays Nate perfectly. And I'm also not mad at Carter. I don't think Carter really is doing anything wrong.
He's just trying to see if he still has a chance.
Yeah. I don't fault people for that. There's somebody that I think still burns a torch for Robin, that they dated a long, long time ago. And I think that he always kind of had the we'll end up together or we'll end up alone and miserable, apart from each other, but together. And I know that there's nothing there, and I know that he would never actually try to make any move or anything like that. But I know that, and I don't really believe any of that anymore, but I believe that when Robin and I started dating, this guy still liked her. If he could take any shot he wants to. Robin's going to come to me and be like, hey, by the way, my ex is shooting a shot. And he never did. But like, you can say that to people. Like, hey, my ex is in town helping me with this thing. Talk about it and people will be okay with it. But again, I'm not mad at Carter for shooting a shot. Yeah. I'm mad at Serena for not being honest about it.
Yeah, when she was firm, he got out of the limo and he left.
Yeah. Which has kind of always been Carter also. Like, okay, I'm here for as long as I'm really wanted, but then if I'm not, like, I'm going to cause
I'll take that plane ticket to Dubai.
Yeah, but like, I'm kind of living off of y'all's cash at this point. Can I piss off Chuck enough to get me on a plane somewhere?
Jenny goes up to the Waldorfs and delivers some silk to Eleanor and a letter to Serena. Jenny also reveals that Nate knows about Carter.
Yeah.
So again, once again, just being honest.
Yeah. And giving the letter. And Nate gave her the letter to give to Serena. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
And then Gossip Girl takes us to the break with Surprise S, a special delivery courtesy of Little J. I guess good things don't always come in small packages. Act 3 begins. The strains of Eastern European folk music play as Vanya explains the balloon game to the gathered guests. People start pairing up.
Dorota looks fantastic.
Yeah. Glowing, one might say.
Yes.
Jenny and Eric discuss Eric's failing to see Elliot again, and Jenny concerns over Serena and Nate.
I love Eric. I love how he's just kind of seeing through Jenny's shit here, that he knows Jenny enough to be like, oh shit, like she's, some wheels are spinning in her head, and Eric can tell, and I love that.
Chuck ignores the advances of a Russian model type and instead goes to Blair, who agrees to dance, but no talking.
Yeah. Women already throwing themselves at Chuck is a little bit of foreshadowing.
Mm-hmm. Serena and Nate pair up and discuss Carter. Nate admits that he doesn't trust Serena. Their balloon is the first to break, and Jenny looks on with interest and then separates from Eric.
There's a certain level of irony to asking someone to trust you for saying like, oh, well, this is all it is. We just had coffee. That's all.
Then
why don't you trust me? And why weren't you honest in the first place? And why are you asking someone to trust you when you're still lying?
Yeah.
When that's not what it was. So you lie, and then you're like, why don't you trust me? Why?
Eleanor approaches Dan and recruits him to help with catering duties, despite him not actually being a cater waiter anymore.
Yeah, he's not the Seder cater waiter, but but you know I'm not working this party, right? Yeah. And again, it's just Eleanor. And the way that Eleanor in this scene says it with a smile, says it with a, I know you're not, but I'm still asking you to do this. And Dan just being like, of course I'm going to do it because I'm Dan and I'm going to be helpful. And I loved that interaction. And it also did a lot to further what you were saying of pulling the Humphrey family and the Waldorf families together as closer than they were. And I feel like there's a big piece of that is they're Upper East Siders now. And so, yeah, I did like that got pulled in, that there was that familiarity now and that they were friendly.
Cyrus shocks Eleanor by revealing that he bought Dorota an apartment. Eleanor finds it inappropriate as Dorota is just a maid, but Cyrus says Dorota is family and practically raised Blair. This last comment does not improve Eleanor's mood.
No, and this is also, I was worried that this was going to be a bump in the road for them, that was going to be really divisive. But it just really speaks to Cyrus, his honesty, and just the way that he is that emotional support for Eleanor, that he can say harsh things that I don't think that he meant it as a dig, that he thought it would be offensive. It just, to him, seems like that's just, everybody knows that Dorota practically raised Blair.
Yeah.
And you're one of the most powerful women in the fashion industry. Of course you needed help. Of course you and your powerful, attorney husband or something? I forget what. Attorney husband. Of course you guys are busy and needed help, but that means that someone else had to raise your kid. Mm-hmm. And all of that comes through in Cyrus's delivery of when he says that. But it would also be a knife to the heart of a parent to hear that. And so and this is also the second time that Eleanor dismisses Dorota as the help in the episode. So for Cyrus to really come back and be like, she's family. And for Cyrus to be like, she's my family. Right? You may not think so, but Blair knows she's family and I know she's family. So I bought her an apartment. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
Yeah. Jenny goes to Nate and drips poisonous honey into his ear and then finds the envelope from Carter and reveals it contains a key card, presumably for Carter's room.
Increasingly grimy to go into the purse to get the letter that was just kind of sitting there hanging out of the thing. But also, why you got that key, Serena? Why? And also, though, I've held envelopes before, and I can tell if there's a hard piece of plastic in it.
Yeah, you probably would have. She probably knew what it was already. That's why she went for it.
Yeah, but like Nate also handled that already.
Nate's not that perceptive.
Touche.
But Jenny definitely knew what it was.
Yeah.
Chuck continues trying to apologize to Blair. Blair is still having trouble expressing her feelings on what happened and purposely pops their balloon and storms off.
Yeah, Blair not having it.
Yeah. Dan and Blair share a moment, and Dan tries to comfort Blair. However, Blair interprets it as no one but Chuck could ever love her after what she has become.
This scene was amazing. Yeah. I loved it. I've talked over and over about their chemistry. This episode just took that huge step towards pushing them together. In starting with this scene, I loved them in it. I loved Dan being compassionate towards somebody, which it's funny because, again, classic Dan, that he'll jab at you all day long, but if he sees distress in another human being, he's going to take that to heart. Might not handle it the right way, but he'll internalize and try to be supportive. And I think that this is the point, more than anything, that we see Blair and Dan almost becoming friends. Or at least the Dan at this point is kind of like, she's an asshole, she's my friend.
Yeah.
I think that we got the first hint of that with the no headbands in college, and then you get this bringing that around again. So I really loved this scene.
I think you had a little bit of it in season 2 as well, when Serena tried to force them to be friends. Dan was giving her the advice about, telling Chuck that she loved him.
Yeah, yes. The other big one in season 2 was actually when they were at odds with each other in the play on stage.
Yeah.
I wanted them to just bang right there. The way they were going at it.
Rufus is still trying to reach Lily, but it turns out she may not be at Canyon Ranch after all. This might have been Matt Settle's best acting, actually. Maybe Vander Woodson? Bass? Roots? He just sounded so pathetic.
He did. Oh, that's so funny. And it's so true, because he had no words and was just searching for ready to go through the other 4 names that she's had, and before giving up. Poor Rufus.
And Gossip Girl has another blast before we go to the act break. Looks like Lily is caught in a lie. Guess it's the truth that's getting massaged. And we move into Act 4.
That was good. That I don't often comment on the Gossip Girl things, because a lot of times I think they're kind of throwaway. That one was good.
Chuck approaches Blair in her room and puts a new necklace around her neck. It appears Blair has resigned herself to being with Chuck. Even Chuck doesn't seem keen on being with a miserable Blair.
Yeah,
it was like a chain just being locked around her throat.
Yeah. There's something about her face that when she is just expressionless, that when it is that acquiescing look that she gets, that it's stunning. It's porcelain doll stunning just to look at. And it's funny, because doing some of the edits that I was doing this past week, watching Leighton frame by frame as an actor is a joy, because it's not just in how she delivers lines. It's when you're not even supposed to be looking at her, and she's capturing every moment of human interaction. It's spectacular work. And going back to this scene, just the framing of it, and when she acquiesces to her life with Chuck, and the advice of Dan Humphrey, of all people, that, yeah, this is the only person I'm worthy of.
Very sad.
So sad. And for Chuck to be like, oh, I wanted to win, but this sucks.
The next day, Eric and Dan are off to the wedding, but Eric is concerned that Rufus isn't going.
Yeah. Don't be Dan.
Speaking of Rufus, he is still calling every number he is trying to find Lily. Leaves a message for Cece.
Yeah. Good luck.
At the wedding, Cyrus is explaining yet another Eastern European wedding tradition.
So I really want to know if these are researched or made up, or are they just counting on the Gossip Girl fans to not ever Google, or I'm sorry, not to ever Bing the traditions, Slavic traditions.
They paid Microsoft to delete them from the database. In the lobby, Serena and Nate continue to argue about Carter. Serena says he is just helping her find her dad and didn't want to admit she was still looking. Nate gives her a firm boundary that he doesn't want her to see Carter anymore. This, of course, ruffles Serena's feathers.
Yeah. Serena, say it all up front. You're such a dramatic fucking narcissist.
As Vanya describes what a good and healthy relationship is like, you see Blair's face begin to drop. When Cyrus calls for the happy couple to escort the bride and groom, Chuck steps forward, but Blair begins to cry. She admits that her and Chuck are not a happy couple and runs off.
Oh, I do want to mention that Vanya's things to Dorota and, his whole speech was adorable and very sweet.
And that is what love should be like.
Yes, exactly. Not
what Chuck and Blair have.
Yeah, not trafficking your partner to your creepy uncle.
And Gossip Girl has this to say as we go to the act break. Poor Chuck. Looks like he's got a runaway bridesmaid on his hands. And we move into Act 5. Dorota goes after Blair and comforts her and says she doesn't need Blair to be a happy couple. She just wants Blair to be happy. Eleanor overhears the conversation and is moved, but interrupts to remind them that the show must go on.
I love that. Of course, Dorota is going to follow her, and of course, they're going to have a heart-to-heart, and of course, Eleanor is going to hear it. And Eleanor needs to hear it, and Eleanor needs to be reminded of the role this person played in their life. And again, a little tropey, but executed well, and really, the whole thing was just a very heartfelt, really good moment.
In the lobby, Serena meets Carter, who claims he found her dad and booked them a flight to Palm Beach. There is no time to tell anyone where they are going, but Jenny sees Serena leaving with Carter. Everyone's just hiding around corners, as usual.
Yeah.
As Jenny rejoins Eric for the ceremony, Elliot finally shows up with his girlfriend.
Don't worry, Eric. It's a spectrum. No dude goes door to door from the bottom to the penthouse looking for you that isn't into you.
Yeah.
Unless, well, actually, you know what? Robin and I had this conversation because I said the same thing and then followed it up with, okay, if I smelled weed or if they were like, yeah, I'm a DM, I might go door to door. Like, hey, I play Dungeons and Dragons and I like to run a game. Yeah, I might go door to door from the bottom to the top looking for them.
Or in this world, trying to run a Ponzi scheme.
I believe they're called poppy schemes.
Yes. As the ceremony begins, Eleanor apologizes to Cyrus and admits that Dorota is family. She was just ashamed about being a bad mother before Cyrus showed up. The acting in this scene. Oh.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes. And she needs that. And again, it's not a taking something away from you, but yeah, she's such a powerhouse and I just absolutely loved it.
Chuck finally discovers that Blair didn't actually sleep with Jack. However, Blair snuffs out the fires of Chuck's relief. She wants a pure and simple love and is ashamed of herself for what she would have done for Chuck. She says, "This is the end."
Better be bored than ashamed of myself.
Yeah.
Who has Blair always said is boring? Which other character on the show has Blair specifically cited as being boring?
I believe Chuck is referred to him as Humdrum Humphrey.
Wow. That's right. I do remember her mentioning Dan as being boring, hasn't she? I'm so fucking here for this. I'm going to be so disappointed if they pull the rug out, because they'll do that. They've made these pairings before and then not had it happen. They did it with Dan and Vanessa previously and kind of
like multiple times.
Yeah, multiple times. So if they pull it out from under me, okay, I'm kind of prepared for that. But I'm currently just totally on board for this. I've been on board for it for over a season now.
Nate is looking for Serena, and Jenny reluctantly tells him that Serena left with Carter.
Yeah. I love the needle drop on Serena left with Carter, and the music comes in and you see the limo. I thought that was really well executed. Again, I'm not mad at Jenny. Serena fucking left with Carter. What do you want Jenny to do? Cover for her? No.
Serena is riding with Carter to the airport. Carter admits that he knew about her dad for a week and was using the time to get closer to her. Serena stops the car and kicks Carter to the curb. She'll be making this trip solo.
Yeah, I'm not mad at him.
Yeah.
I'm a little bummed that Carter is off the show because I did like what he brought to the show. So I'm a little bummed that we're not going to see any more of him. But
he's shitty enough that he kind of deserves Serena.
Yeah. They really do kind of deserve each other. That they're both just that they are sort of the like a Blair and Chuck equivalent to just being because Nate doesn't have that narcissism that Serena does. They're both golden retrievers, and that's the thing is that Carter would eventually just turn into her handler more than anything else.
And Gossip Girl has this to say about it. Goodbye, Basin. Hello, Palm Beach. With Carter out of the picture, it looks like Serena's making room for Daddy. And we move into the epilogue. Cyrus and Eleanor give an ecstatic Dorota and Vanya the gift of the apartment. Dorota and Eleanor share a touching moment.
Yeah, this was really sweet. And again, for Eleanor to fully acknowledge and realize the impact that this person had on their life and the joy of giving them the apartment. I love that.
A boozing Rufus finally gets a return call from Cece, but it's just more frustrations for him as she refuses to divulge her daughter's secrets.
I love that. I like Cece so much more than I originally did because she loves this shit.
She totally punked it out there.
Yeah, that she's like, that she's just like blowing bubbles in her gin right now.
Yeah, she could have easily just ignored the message.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. But no, I'm going to call him just to tell him
and rub it in.
I'm not going to tell him anything.
Rub it in that his wife is lying to him.
Like, yeah, Rufus, she's lying to you. I'm not going to tell you about what or why. You should talk to her about that.
Yeah. Back at the reception, Chuck is quickly embracing being single and flirting with the Russian woman from earlier. Blair is watching in disgust, but is once again comforted by Dan. After taking a shot at Vanessa, Blair accepts Dan's invitation for a dance. Chuck begins to leave with the Russian. When Nate tries to stop him from making things worse, Chuck shrugs him off and says, "I'm single now. This is who I am."
Yeah. I mean, Oppie. Of course he's going to. Of course. I mean, you can't be mad at Chuck for that. Be mad at Chuck for everything else, but Chuck's single.
Yeah.
And Chuck gonna be Chuck. Chuck be chucking.
Elliot approaches Eric to tell him his girlfriend left because he kept talking about Eric. Oh, did I mention he also likes boys?
See, Eric, it's a spectrum.
Couple things there. This guy's kind of an asshole.
Yeah.
He brings his girlfriend to an event to a guy he likes.
Yes. That he wants to flirt with the guy.
But I do like seeing some bi representation.
Yes.
Because one thing that really kind of annoyed me about Buffy was the kind of erasure of Willow and Oz, because the network wouldn't allow her to be bisexual.
Oh, yeah.
She had to be either straight or gay.
Yeah.
But to me, it was clear that she loved Oz.
Yes, yeah. And I totally.
And I have no problem with Tara and Willow. I like them too, but it just kind of erases.
Yeah, let's not get into Kennedy and Willow.
Jenny intercepts a call from Serena to Nate, and Jenny promises to pass on her love message to Nate. However, Jenny immediately walks over to Nate and asks him to dance. Feeling dismissed by Serena, he gladly accepts.
Yep.
Jenny, you did not learn your lesson from season 2. Nate does not like scheming. He's going to find out.
Yeah.
He's going to find out, and you're going to be left in the cold.
Yeah.
And also is very much a parallel to Vanessa intercepting the letter from season 2.
Yes. And Jenny, you could have just not answered the phone. Because however he finds out, you could have just not answered the phone. You already had everything. You already had her leaving with Carter. You didn't need to do that. I'm also going to say, though, at this point, I'm not mad at her still. Like, because Serena's such an asshole that I'm just like, okay, Jenny's just shooting her shot.
Nah, I disagree. I think she crossed the line. There's one thing to, be honest to get your way, but now she's being manipulative to get her way, that's crossed the line to me.
Yeah, I'm not saying she's not crossing lines. I'm saying I'm not mad at her for crossing lines. Mostly because I think that Serena at this point, after all that she's done in this episode, first of all, I also know that Nate isn't going to go for Jenny. I know that that's just not that. I feel like Nate at this point just looks at Jenny like a little sister. That he values his friendship with Dan that already got in the way. Mm-hmm. So I think that he doesn't want a relationship with Jenny.
Sorry, Jenny. I think he likes your brother more than you. He made a choice.
Yeah. And it's because of the immature scheming shit.
Yeah.
This is why.
Yeah.
And so Jenny will get what's coming to her for this. But honestly, I hope that at this point, I'm kind of like, Serena doesn't deserve Nate either. I want nothing but the best for Nate.
But she's perfectly capable of screwing it up herself.
Yes. Yeah, fair. She does not need Jenny's help. Jenny, just sit back and watch it blow up.
Yeah. But she can't help but scheme.
No. She's in the game.
Yeah. We get a montage and a Gossip Girl monologue. As Nate and Jenny step out onto the dance floor, we see Eric and Elliot doing a Kazachuck, and Dorota and Vanya are slow dancing, eyes closed with huge smiles on their faces. Dan, Blair, Eleanor, and Cyrus do shots.
Yes, I took special notice of Dan and the Waldorfs again.
And did you hear the monologue that went over their scene?
Yes. I forget exactly what it was, but I remember taking note of it.
We explore a world of love and be pleasantly surprised by the people already in our life.
Yeah. I remember that.
And then Gossip Girl continues, and it looks like Serena has already arrived in Palm Beach and knocks on a hotel room door. However, Serena is shocked when Lily is the one to answer the door.
What? Of course. I mean, we were sitting there. She knocks on the door, and I turned to Robin. Lily's going to answer.
Well, yeah, because we already knew she wanted to go see
her. We knew she was there, yeah. Palm Beach, Florida?
California.
How's that a 3-hour plane ride? It's a 5-hour plane ride.
Maybe there is Palm Beach in Florida, too. Oh, yeah, Palm Beach is Florida. Palm Springs is California.
Oh, okay. But so how's that a 3-hour plane ride? That's a 2-hour plane ride from New York.
That's about 3 hours.
Palm Beach, I thought it was 2. From here to Florida, it's about 2 hours, I thought.
At least 2.5, depending on where you go.
Oh, okay.
There's more than one airport in Florida.
I guess I've only flown to Orlando. No, I flew to Tampa Bay not long ago.
So this is the full Gossip Girl monologue at the end. While most people think it's our brain that controls our actions, it's often our heart that gets the biggest workout. It can make us do the craziest things, but it can also let us take a chance on new adventures. Because when we open our heart, we can explore a world of love and be pleasantly surprised by the people already in our life. But unfortunately, our hearts are very sensitive when they're broken. Everything around us is shattered. Total eclipse of the heart. XO, XO, Gossip Girl. What's coming next?
Well, I mean, I wish that they could have had the Dan and Vanessa blow up now, because now we have to wait through that to happen. The whole Tish thing has to come to a head for them to move on to Dan and Blair, and so that.
Do you think this is going to be a clean break for Chuck and Blair?
Well, I think Chuck's going to be trying to get her back. I think Chuck's going to be scheming to get her back, and she's going to be resistant until she ends up with Dan. Unless she ends up with somebody else first, and because they do that sometimes. They start the push, but they have to work around it, and so this could just be more foreshadowing. I don't know. I'm just kind of looking at it as those two are on the horizon. I do think Chuck is going to kind of hit. I don't want to say rock bottom, but a bottom again, and then many bottoms probably. But but I think that Chuck is going to kind of spiral, but also try to scheme to get Blair back. I think Nate's going to find out about Jenny meddling and be pissed about that. I think Serena and Nate might be done because Serena's, kind of a butthole. But I think she's going to try to get Nate back, but I think he's going to be like, you're an asshole. I really don't know what's going to happen with Lily and Rufus. God damn it, can't the drama be about the kids? I think that's it.
Well, let's move into segments. This week in fandom, we jump into the Wayback Machine to visit the fan forums from 2010.
Hello there, Peabody here. And this is the Wayback Machine for traveling through time. And this is my boy, Sherman. Speak, Sherman. Hello. Good boy.
Overall impression, mixed of feelings. Some people liked it, some didn't.
Okay.
But this is when the fan base really starts to turn on Jenny.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. They were going after her hard.
Robin, too, by the way. Robin's like, I hate her. I hate her right now.
Oh, yeah, she's definitely not being a girl's girl.
No, absolutely not.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Dan and Blair scenes popped.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, the main discussion was the Nate and Serena stands fighting with the few Nate and Jenny stands.
I would be a Nate and Jenny stan if it wasn't for the fact that I know that Chase is uncomfortable with it. On the meta, I don't like it. On the...
Let's move into episode grades. It is my time to go first. I really liked this episode. I thought the acting was tremendous all around. Even though Serena was horrible, Blake did a good job. Even Chase had some good moments. Other than the face-off with Carter. But it's kind of hard to be angry at your best friend in real life.
Yeah. Oh, are they best friends in real
they're
life?
not best friends, but they're good friends.
Oh, good.
So
it makes me so happy when I hear that stuff.
But yeah, I thought the writing was good. I felt like this was a very big sea change type of episode where hopefully we're moving on from Chuck and Blair and finding some new things to talk about with the show. Nate and Serena also look they might be going out, and of course we know there's probably going to be problems with Dan and Vanessa with the Tish application that was mentioned once again. So I ended up giving this an A-.
Yeah, I also really liked this episode. I thought it was good to shake up Blair and Chuck finally. They had, 19 episode run for their relationship? I think it's the longest relationship we've seen other than Rufus and Lily's bullshit. So I really thought a lot of this. I'm going to go with, I went with a B+ for this one.
On to Stockwatch. Going up, I had a lot this week. Dorota and Vanya, Eleanor and Cyrus, Dan for being a good helper and just being a good guy, not being dragged down by Vanessa. Jenny and Eric, because I'm going to take Jenny off. I originally had her on there, but I'm going to take her off as going up. But I am going to have Eric because he seems to have a new love interest. Blair, because she's sad now, but I think she's kind of moving forward. And also Cece, because she got the style on Rufus. And the Russian woman, because she got Chuck.
Oh, yeah. So I had a lot of the same. I had Dorota, Vanya, Eleanor, and Cyrus. I had Dan. I did have little J. I'm going to keep Jenny on there because even though she was scheming and dirty, she did achieve what she was after. So I'm going to keep her up. I have Eric, and I gave it to Elliot for, even though he's kind of a piece of shit now that I think about it, but I'm still welcome to the show. You get a stock up for making Eric smile. I will also give it to the Russian woman and to Cece as well. I didn't have Cece down, but you're absolutely right. She got to style. She got to do her favorite thing in the world. Tell Rufus that there's something he doesn't know and she's not going to tell him what it is. Actually, that's her second favorite thing. Her favorite thing is giving him information that's going to crush him.
Going down, Chuck because he's dumped. Carter because he's dumped. Serena because she's the worst. Rufus because he's pathetic. Lily because she's cheating. And Nate because he's being manipulated all around.
I think I have all of the same except Blair. So I have Chuck. I did have Blair going down. You made a good point. I did not quite see that upward turn yet. So I felt like she ended with that sad low note. She lost what she was after as of right now. I have Nate going down. I have Serena going down because she sucks. Rufus going down. And Lily and Carter both going down.
But here's the best outfits from the last episode we've seen.
So, best outfit. A lot to choose from this episode.
Yes. This was the best fashion episode in a minute.
But both of Jenny's dresses were serving. Dorota's party dress was great, with the black lace and like the kind of gold lining almost. But at the end of the day, I went with Serena's purple dress because it's my favorite color with the black tights.
My other shout out on this was Blair's red dress with that.
I would have liked it without the ruffles. That would have won for me if it didn't have the ruffles.
I kind of dug the ruffles. I like the way that they were like offset, the way that it kind of...
Is that your winner or or just a shout out?
Just the shout out. But because she doesn't get it very often, and I thought she had two great outfits on this show, I'm going to give it to Dorota I'm going to say the wedding dress, but at the end of the day, I'm mostly, when I'm looking at things, I'm counting like the number of times they win. So I definitely wanted Dorota to get it. I thought she looked fabulous in both her wedding dress and the party dress.
That is it for segments. Steve, do you have anything you want to plug this week?
I'm going to start by saying I started listening to Still the podcast from our friend Danielle Joy. Some good stuff, and it's good to listen to from the perspective of a man, not someone who's really in the industry or anything, but to just kind of be aware of what people have gone through to bring me the entertainment that I'm watching, and it's very eye-opening. So shout out to Still the podcast. I'd also, once again, we're having a casting call for the movie Best of This. If you're in Southeast Pennsylvania and you want to dip your toe into acting, get in touch with us and I can send you the information for auditions. And I think that our crowdsourcing might be done by the time this comes out, but we are trying to raise money for it too. So check out Best of This and get in touch with us and we can give you more info.
Nothing really for me to plug at the moment, but you can follow me on social media. I'm at Hot Capicola. That's HOTCAPICOLA. You can find me on Instagram and Blue Sky. You can follow the podcast on Instagram, TikTok, Threads, at Non-Judging Breakfast Pod. You can also find links to our Discord, our subreddit, and our Patreon on our website, nonjudgingbreakfastpod.com.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, we'd love to hear what you have to say and maybe even read it during one of our episodes. You can send us an email to nonjudgingbreakfastpod@gmail.com. Also, while you're listening, if you could go ahead and hit the follow button and the like, subscribe, and also if you wouldn't mind leaving us a comment, that really helps us with our visibility in Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And finally, if you're listening right now, go ahead and tell your friends what you're listening to and get them involved in the conversation and make us your water cooler talk.
And we will be back next week to talk about Season 3, Episode 19, Dr. Estranged Love.
That title is fucking great. And the HBO thumbnail is Serena talking to an older man.
Did you recognize him?
I did not. Because I try very hard not to look too hard at those things.
Any guesses on the casting? It is someone semi-famous.
Is it? Is it Andrew McCarthy?
Nah,
Okay.
that was Lily's dad.
Oh, right. Okay. For Serena, it's not. The one glimpse I had, it's not the former president, not a real president, but I can't think of his name right now. Martin
Yeah.
Sheen, right? No.
Anyways, the episode description is Dan finds out that he didn't get accepted into the Tisch writing program, and Vanessa admits she may have been somewhat responsible.
Oh boy.
Until next time, you know you love us.
XOXO.
Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Oh, it seems I'm walking right to your door. My heart's still resting, looking for something more. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Never feels right when I'm out here on my own. I left last night and it feels like way too long. Are you ever gonna see everything you mean to me? I'm trying really hard to believe. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Come back to me. Smile and you'll make my life complete. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there. Every time you walk away, run away, you take a piece of me with you there.
Oh. We're still here.